Yo, what's happening, people? And welcome back to the Tiki Taka podcast, where you're going to hear hot takes, unbiased opinions, and hopefully have a couple laughs along the way. And we're putting this episode out a bit later this week because there were some midweek fixtures. So we'll talk about them mainly. Obviously, we know there were fixtures on the weekend. Arsenal and Liverpool won last weekend. United and City won in the FA Cup. We won't talk about all the fixtures, but as the title race is heating up, that's where our focus is going to be for this episode in particular. So if you're listening on YouTube, subscribe. Let us know what you think of the episode in the comments. And if you're listening on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. But we'll get straight into it because, as you can see by the title of this episode, Kai Havertz destroyed Chelsea. He made them regret selling him. He proved to them that he might be the striker that they need.
Yeah.
And we were both at the game.
Yeah, we were
together. What did you think of it?
I thought I do think it was strange. Well, sorry, the game was great.
Yeah.
The game itself was fantastic. Yeah. One of the better days, one of the best days, really. Actually, it's funny. One of my co-workers who I saw yesterday for drinks was saying that is the best game he's ever been to at the Emirates. He goes quite regularly.
Yeah.
And he was like that, and maybe there obviously a lot of his Chelsea hates,
This season is up there.
100%. It was one of those days out.
Yeah,
picturesque, everything
goes.
Type of situation.
I said to you afterwards, I was like, "It's the best way it probably could have gone."
But you know what I was gonna say? What I thought was strange was actually the atmosphere, because it's a big game, but I don't think it felt like. And the fans were up for it. It's not that the fans weren't up for it. It was a big game, all this kind of stuff. But I don't know. London derbies, there wasn't that nervousness. I guess I'm trying to say that sometimes that's associated with London derbies. And I thought that was.
I thought the atmosphere was on point.
Atmosphere was on point. The fans knew that what 3 points would do for us, type of thing. But I don't think any of us were afraid of Chelsea. Yeah. And I thought that is not. That's not been us. That's definitely not been us. And so I'm happy that, and I think we were saying this at the time, like before we get into the game itself, I think I'm happy that when a poor Chelsea side comes to the Emirates, like we're now that team
like that they used to do to us.
Yeah, we're now that team that will turn you over and send you away, and you're left with like these big questions at the end. Oh, is the manager enough? Are the players good enough? All that kind of stuff that used to happen to us.
Yeah.
When Chelsea would slap us up, or Liverpool would slap us up, or City would slap us up. I do like the fact that we're becoming that ruthless team. That is, if you're not at the level, we will show you levels.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to love, man.
Yeah.
I think starting with the starting lineup, loved it.
Yeah.
Loved the starting lineup from Mikel Arteta. We were saying, we didn't pod about it, but we were saying after the Wolves game how we didn't necessarily want, we thought we just got through that performance type of situation. We didn't want to proceed with the Rice 6, Havertz 8, Odegaard 10 thing. And I'm so happy to see Thomas Partey come back into the fold and ball the way he did.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be huge for us from now to the end of the season.
Yeah. I think like we both said that after the Wolves game that we wanted to see Thomas Partey basically start every game.
Yeah.
From now to the end of the season, which I think he will do. There is still a part of me that thinks that Mikel might stick Jorginho in there on Sunday. But I hope, and I think that there's a strong chance, because I think Mikel knows that's his best midfield. I think in some ways he's kind of just been gearing Partey up for Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, these last 5 games.
Yeah, where I need you.
Now, just play your 90 minutes now.
Obviously, we don't know what he's going to do, but I do think that it would make more sense to bring Jorginho on. I think Jorginho can be a great guy to bring on to a game. Last 20 minutes, whatever. Win your fouls, play the calm pass, sort of, do the Jorginho things versus bringing Thomas Partey into games. Like Thomas Partey, we're gonna wax lyrical about him, but he can be a terrible substitution in the sense that he needs 5 minutes anyway to get him going. And if it's a derby game, I would rather see him do his thing from the minute one, give him 60, 70 minutes, bring him off, than bring him on and be like, "Oh, Thomas, please."
Yeah.
You know,
you need Partey to kind of work his way into the game. And also to have Partey from the start, it will make us just that much more of a threat.
Yeah, and the aggression and all that stuff that Tottenham are gonna play with.
Yeah.
Being, they're like Everton, we're gonna come into the Everton game, but like there is gonna be 10 minutes of just winning your battles physically, running, not being bitched off the ball, showing a little bit of quality and guile and that kind of stuff. But it wasn't even just Partey, to be honest, and he does so much for us. But even I thought Tomiyasu had a great attacking performance as well. Let alone
because Madueke did. I mean, Madueke is quick, and I don't think Tomiyasu's fully fit. But the second half, especially, kind of locked it down. And that first goal in particular, the pass that Partey plays to Declan Rice, we said it at the time. We haven't really seen that all season, right? And that one pass from Thomas Partey, with the pass he's given Declan Rice, tells Declan Rice, "Yo, just go
forward,
just drive now. We're in, but there's gaps in midfield here." And after Trossard stuck that one in after 4 minutes, I turned to Michael in the stadium and I said, "This lot are here for the taking."
Yeah,
because
and they were.
You can tell, like, when from the very start of the game, you can tell at the Emirates that, like, if Arsenal were going to be very, like, dominant in this game, like the Porto game, for example, nobody was getting that much time and space on the Declan Rice in the space he found himself for that first goal. In that Porto game, there was never that kind of space. So as soon as you start offering our players that kind of space, I knew, if we take our, which we didn't do in the first half, and at halftime Chelsea was still in the game. We'll get onto the Chelsea side of things, but then obviously second half we come back out. Ben White gets that second goal.
That was when I knew it was done.
Have you seen that second goal back?
Yeah, I have.
Do you think Gabriel Jesus scores that?
No, he doesn't.
On his left foot.
He finds a way to put it past the post, swivel too much, put it over the keeper. Somehow Petrovic gets a hand. He puts it in the one place Petrovic can only, can reach.
Because when I watched it back, I was like, it's actually quite a good finish from Ben White.
Yeah.
On his left foot, composed.
100% it is. I actually like the whole thing. I like what Ben White is initially doing with Cucurella. I like what Saliba's doing with Enzo. It's I don't know if the routine came off the way the team wanted it to, but I like the moving pieces that we have in the box, and there is a certain level of intelligence that we have now in set pieces. Obviously, we've got the most goals, but it really does show in those kind of moments, man. Like
that short corner was on the whole game,
and Chelsea definitely don't have that in-game management or in-game intelligence to pick up on these kind of things, man. Super happy though.
Yeah,
super happy for Ben White.
Yeah, but Brace.
Yeah,
I think he's now equaled Trent's or Reece James's best ever goal GA tally. I think he's equal Trent's best ever goal tally in the Premier League season, and they're calling him a defensive right back.
I'm gonna get ahead of myself. Well, not get ahead of myself, and this might not happen, but there is a reality in which Ben White could, as we say, best sort of goal scoring returning season for us GA wise, defensive right back, attacking right back, inverted right back. He can do all type of thing where he could win the Premier League and not play in the Euros. That is a legitimate possibility where and I heard somebody else talking about this. Like there was that time when England had too many right backs. There was James, Wan-Bissaka, Trent, Trippier, and everybody was like, "Oh, spoiled in these positions, generational right back years, all this kind of stuff." And now England are in a situation where it's like, where are all those guys? Wan-Bissaka's not he's not in any shouts. James is injured.
They were putting Livramento in those conversations. Trippier's out.
Exactly. And now not the one, but you have English winning right back, could be team of the season right back, could be all of these
for tournament football as well.
Could be all of those things, and he might not even play.
Well, that's his decision.
Right? Yeah, whatever's happened has happened, and it's also neither here nor there. He might not win the league, but it still wouldn't change the fact that he's probably the best English right back.
I think for the last 2 seasons, I've said this quite loudly to people that know me. I think he's been the best right back in the league for the last 2 seasons. I still think overall, obviously, Trent and Walker are ahead of him. But that's almost purely... Trent's a bit different because he's just a unique footballer. That's almost purely just because of what they've won. That they're ahead of him. But I was going to ask, strictly defensively, who do you think's the best right back in the league?
Walker, like first, and then I
Yeah.
would go Ben White because Walker has the ability.
Walker can get caught lacking on the back
Walker can
post,
get caught
though.
lacking, but he also has the nuclear option to actually catch a Vinny, to actually catch an Mbappe, to actually, and I think that
But Ben
is
White did all right in 2 Champions League games
Ben White did
against
well. Ben
Gnabry.
White, Ben White is, you know, as you say, for the past 2 seasons, the most consistent best right back in the league. I would never argue against that. But Walker, he's showing that he can do his thing at the highest level with the highest dons, and yeah. But I was also gonna say, like, coming into just the consistency that him, Saliba, and Gabriel have showed, I think it really showed as well in the Chelsea game, and I really loved. This isn't the biggest game to praise Gabriel and Saliba. They were good. They were, but I think what I enjoyed the most about them was, like, anytime Chelsea tried to play a ball short, like the aggression in Gabriel and Saliba's sort of challenges to snap at Jackson's feet, to not let him turn, to not let him sit on the ball. And, like, it's very small.
And make it hard.
Yeah, like, more often than not, Jackson takes a touch, passes it back.
Yeah.
They try and recycle type of thing. But honestly,
and draw a comparison to Dizazi and Badia Shield.
Yeah.
And the way they were letting Havertz drop off and get his touches.
Honestly, like, it's incredible from Gabriel and Saliba, that, like, synchronized, I'm jumping in to get this ball.
Yeah.
And you're not going to turn, you're not going to have fun. And it was really great to see that work in unison for the full 90 minutes. And that is huge. It's fundamental to winning 5-0. As much as obviously the goal scorers deserve their credit. And one thing I'll say,
which I think we should get onto, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, one thing I'd say on the goal scorers was Trossard, though. I didn't have a doubt that Trossard was going to bury that, man. I think he's really he's really
10 league goals now.
Yeah, he's really become that guy. And Havertz to have 12 or 11 or however many he has, like, I don't think we would have said that. But maybe you could have expected Havertz to get 10 league goals. 100%.
If we had told any Arsenal fan at the start of the season, we'll get 11 and 5 from Havertz.
Yeah. Or even what we have.
All of them would have taken that.
Yeah. No, 100%.
But, and I mean, Kai Havertz deserves his praise.
Yeah.
That, and I said to you after straight after the game, that the second goal was like, that's a strike. That looks like a striker to me.
Yeah. That's
when I watched the goals back, I think the first goal might be better.
The run is ridiculous.
I think the way he breaks the line there and then holds off Cucurella, carries the ball, keeps the ball between, or his body between the ball and Cucurella, carries it into the box, keeps him held off, and then roof the finish.
Yeah,
I think the first one might even be a better goal.
It's tough because I really do like the second one.
Yeah, but I think the second one is more just like that's just like instinct and player quality.
Yeah.
The first one, I'm like, that is like
that's centre forward.
Yeah. Break the line, hold the man off, run into the box, and bury it.
It's tough. What I'll say is on both goals,
I think the second one for a player like Kai Havertz comes more naturally to him.
The second one, I see huge shades of RVP. And guys are gonna get on. Guys are gonna say what they're gonna say. I'm not saying that Havertz is RVP. Bear in mind, I put RVP in conversations you wouldn't even believe. Yeah. So I got huge respect for RVP, but
not respect.
Well,
but you like you rate him
as a footballer. Yeah, exactly. Admiration as a footballer type of thing. But that, like, shimmy, and especially kissing the post.
Yeah,
that is that is RVP.
Keeper not moving.
Yeah. That is like crowded space in between three bodies,
turn,
and he does it in one motion, almost, as you say, he's not even thinking; it's just instinctive.
Yeah.
I agree, but I do. The thing about the first one, the first Havertz goal, is I wonder how much of it, and it's probably 50-50, but how much of it is Odegaard has dictated with that ball what needs to happen? Because I think the ball is incredible.
We'll speak about Odegaard because he deserves his own section. But I think as much as that is true, there's a lot for
Havertz to do. And as you said earlier, does Jesus put that in?
No. We don't even need to talk about that. I mentioned Jesus about the Ben White one. Can you imagine Jesus on his left foot in that situation Ben White was in?
Jesus will
scoops it up. And
Jesus brings a lot of balls under control that he should never bring under control. But that is one ball Jesus does not get under control.
Are we talking about Lacazette?
No, but lastly, I'll say on Havertz, I think It
The
was
celebration as well.
Yeah. The celebration. I was gonna say the celebration and just the fact that he got a brace and could have got a hat trick is so reversed, roles reversed to the Arsenal that I know. The Arsenal that I know is having a player that we saw score a brace versus us
Fabregas.
and celebrate in the corner. Yeah, for Arsenal now to be that team. As soon as the second goal went in, you just saw all the Chelsea fans drain out the stadium, and Arsenal fans are, yelling your fucking shit and stuff. That is stuff for dreams. That's what you live for as a fan.
Yeah. I mean, that like I said, we were there for Kai Havertz's first goal. That probably got the loudest cheer.
Yeah.
And his second goal made it 4-0, and then that probably got an even louder cheer. And then to be there singing his song for a good maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As the Chelsea fans filter out.
It's top.
And yeah, I think obviously a bit's been made about his celebration. Some of the Chelsea fans were kind of still on side with him. I think that's put the nail in the coffin. But look, if you score, you should celebrate, man. And Theo Walcott came to the Emirates last year. He scored. He celebrated.
Chelsea fans pretending as if they weren't hounding out Havertz for the last years that he was there at the club. They want him to turn around and be like, "Oh, all respect." He was hounding him out. It's not even like he was a club.
The majority of them were for sure.
Yeah,
but I think there were still some.
Look, there's always that section.
Compare his transfer to Mason Mount.
Yeah,
and think that Kai Havertz went about it in a better way or whatever. I think those guys that hate Havertz just kind of hate him because he's gone to Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, there'll always be that.
For him to, like you say, I mean, nothing tells you that you are more in your banter era than having an ex-player who's I don't even know if Kai Havertz has scored a Premier League brace before. Right? But have an ex-player come and dunk on you, a player that you hate, a player that every Chelsea fan before the game would have told you, just don't let Havertz score.
To send you top of the table, or to send us top of the table.
In a 5-0 win, emphatic.
Yeah.
Emphatic. Matisse was like, I feel like I'm living a nightmare.
Yeah.
Armand messaged me and said I woke up in the middle of the night because I was seeing images of the Havertz goal.
I'd be sick. I'd be sick to my stomach if I was at Chelsea. We've been through those defeats, man. Too many times we've been through those defeats,
and that's why.
And it's going to be the first of many Chelsea fans.
Yeah. I mean, Chelsea at the Emirates, they should be getting bopped consistently.
Consistently. As long as Enzo and Caicedo were turning up and playing how they were playing.
Yeah. But Martin Odegaard. Special. Like you say, that pass for Havertz's goal, I didn't really notice it at the time. I was in the stadium. I didn't even really know who played the pass.
Yeah, I remember you was asking me.
Yeah, Havertz go through and then bury it. But when I saw the pass back, and I said this to my dad, I was like, that pass?
Yeah, special.
Is ridiculous.
I think I said this to you after the game when he was coming back. Like, Odegaard went from a player that was a good player who we knew had talent and ability. He would produce one in every 3 games, to becoming a guy who every game produces an immense amount of quality to win us the football match. Like, he's just,
Well, I don't know if we can say that just yet.
Okay, I mean in the sense of like,
but majority.
I'm going into every football match not questioning whether Odegaard is going to turn up today. Yeah. I'm not thinking, is he going to put in the hard yards? Is he going to get in the ball and dictate things? Is he going to create chances? Like, that is all a given. That's all a guaranteed. And that is what I like, especially from number 10s who sometimes he's an 8, he's a 10, whatever. Sometimes they can be seen as luxury players. I think Odegaard has done the most to not be a luxury player in this football club, to the extent that he probably runs the most,
because people refer to him as like the last of a dying breed.
Yeah.
In terms of a number, and in terms of like the way he plays on the ball, it is very number 10-esque.
Yeah.
But I think he's realized, and Arteta's kind of told him, like, there's no number 10 in this
team. Yeah, you got to run.
Like, there's no Mesut Ozil in this team. Like, you...
But he's embraced that. There's one thing telling somebody that, and then there's one thing a player being like, you know what, that's the truth.
And obviously, as the captain...
And embracing that.
I think Mikel spoke about this after the game, like, and Mikel was saying he's not, like, he won't, like, shout from the rooftops or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you see what he does on the training pitch and when you see what he does on the match day, like, it's very easy for all the other players to follow him.
Yeah.
And say, yeah, we're going to, like, this is our guy, this is our leader. We're going to, because the way he sets the press, the way he works hard, And I agree with you. I think the way, especially that second half, like
instrumental, everything.
Yeah. And when you give Martin Odegaard time and space on the ball, he will kill you.
But that's what I'm saying. It's gone from now. I agree with that point, but I also now just think that he will kill you, even if he doesn't get much time and space. Like I'm going into games where I feel like for however many games we've played, in the last sort of 10 weeks or so, Odegaard creates two. Oh, he should have buried those. Chances per game, and you say that's his job. That's what he should be doing. But he's gone from.
I don't know if I'd say he's killing you there, because I guess in this game the chances are taken, which is a big part of it, right? From the balls he plays, but like the Porto game, it's his like piece of magic and trust
that opens things up.
But even in that game, I wouldn't say he killed Porto, right? Because even though he did his job and he got us that goal and then he scored his penalty and whatever, that was still a very tight game, very intense game. Like
I agree with you, but I would say that it looks different. I wouldn't say he killed Porto in the sense of he had a second half performance like he did at Chelsea. But that's my whole point, is those moments of individual quality that we need to open up games, they're not once every 3 weeks.
No.
They're every week.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's consistent for the whole 90 minutes or the 45 minutes like he did in the second half versus Chelsea. But I know going into any game, if Odegaard is on that team sheet, we have at least 2 guaranteed, damn, he should have buried those chances. And he's gone from producing those moments, as I say, once every 3 games to every game. Every game. He turns up, he puts in the hard yards, he creates big chances, he leaves it all out there on the field. And I have sort of zero doubt. And, you know, we always speak about like who has the highest ceiling in the club. And I don't know, I felt like he has shown over the back end of this season that he might have the highest ceiling of the players that we have. Saka is obviously still incredible. And it's a very close, because Saka left with an assist today and he didn't play. He didn't have his best game, you know, but he wasn't as poor as he's been. I just feel like Odegaard.
I don't really support that narrative about Saka.
What? That he's been poor?
Yeah.
I think he has been. I think some of his performances were not the best for the last couple of weeks. Like he wasn't. I can't say himself, but like. I think I was not expecting a little bit more, but I was hoping maybe for a little bit more.
I don't know, man. I still feel like every game I've watched of Arsenal in this run-in, Saka's the biggest threat.
No, I think Odegaard's the biggest threat.
No, but I'm more sure that Saka will come away with a GA than Odegaard will.
But that's my whole point about Odegaard, is he might not come away with a GA. But if you don't stop him, if you don't keep him quiet, if you don't harass him, stay at his ankles, whatever, then we will open up and create chances.
But the hardest thing to do is put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah.
And that's why I say Saka's the biggest threat.
You know, that the hardest thing to do is put the ball in the back of the net, but that is a bit of a cliche. I think it's pretty hard to play a thread of the needle pass between 6 players.
And for centre backs to get the ball with 2 men pressing them and everything. But at the end of the day, like goals you need to score, right?
No, 100%.
But either way, Martin Odegaard, I agree with what you're saying, and I just want to see this from Martin Odegaard till the end of the season.
I don't have any question about that. That's the thing.
I'm fairly confident I will.
I'm 100% confident I will see this.
Sunday's a big one.
Sunday's a big one.
We've done a North London derby preview, so check that out. If you're interested in what might happen there. But on the Chelsea side, I mean, Chelsea are pathetic.
Yeah.
They are lazy. They are one of the worst coach teams in the league. I asked you after the game about if they were worse coached than Luton, and I think Luton put up a better showing. But I think as much as it's on Poch, I do just think like Madueke, for as good as he was going forward, Mudryk, the work rate of some of those players is just so. There's no way that Poch is like allowing that to happen.
No, Poch is allowing is a strong term, but I think Poch's hands are tied. What's he meant to do? He can't ask for another winger.
Yeah,
he can't ask for another. You know, all that money is tied up. Mudryk knows whether I track back or don't track back. I'm here for 7 years.
Yeah.
You know, like
I'll pick up my 90.
yeah,
90,
they
100 in a week.
you know, if Poch gets onto them too much, they'll probably think, oh, just down tools and Poch will go.
Even more than they already have.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Poch will go. We'll get a new manager in. He'll probably agree with me a little bit more. But I agree with your overall point. Like that Chelsea were terrible. Like
awful.
Chelsea.
Some Chelsea fans are saying that's the worst performance they've ever seen, like in recent history from a Chelsea side.
No, Chelsea. They. It's even tough to put your finger on it. But what I saw out there was, as much as the management is a big issue, player quality.
Yeah.
Like player quality.
You were on Enzo.
Like Enzo, I've never seen a player. As I said,
we will say he's gone for surgery.
Yeah, he probably played injured, and you know maybe that is on Poch. But I was saying I'd rather my 6DM, you know, sort of phase one build up guy be on the ball and be bad on the ball than hide and not want the ball. Caicedo was in that midfield.
None of you man were saying that when it was Granit Xhaka.
Caicedo was in but I'd criticize Granit Xhaka.
Just killing him.
No, well, if you make bad passes, I'll kill you. But the one thing I would always say about Granit Xhaka is he'd always want the ball. Yeah,
but sometimes you weren't happy about that.
Look, Granit Xhaka sometimes would pick up the ball, and especially in the 6, put his head up, scan the field, and then just lazily give it to the first guy he sees 5 yards away. And as I said, but I would still rather that. I would still rather Granit Xhaka, Enzo Fernandez make a 5-yard pass that gets intercepted than actively hide. Come to the stadium, be a passenger. Caicedo is winning the ball in midfield, and trying to spring 30, 40-yard passes to get Jackson in behind, who loses the battle. The ball comes straight back. Caicedo is rushing into another challenge to pick up the ball, to then get his head up and try and fling in another 30-yard pass to get Jackson in behind. And, you know, he got no help from Enzo in there. And he's injured, whatever. I'm not going to kill him too much, but hiding. And then there's other Badia Shield.
Yeah.
Yo, Badia Shield is the opposite to Enzo. He was getting on the ball, but Badia Shield was just giving it away. Like, Badia Shield, sometimes he wouldn't even press him. He's just giving it to Odegaard.
Well, sometimes Odegaard, there was like one point in particular where Odegaard, the ball went to Badia Shield and Odegaard started his press. Right? So he's not even close to Badia Shield yet, but he's about to go and press. Badia Shield panicked, first time pass up in the air straight to Saka. Like, I've got it written here. Badia Shield, can he recover?
Badia Shield
has he had his Callum Chambers, Jefferson Montero at Anfield when gave away a penalty, own goal, I think, lost runners. Like, because that performance yesterday, from minute 1, he was shook.
What I'll say is Badia Shield will never recover next to Disasi, and Disasi will never recover next to Badia Shield.
And they play together.
I'd say it won't happen with Trevor Chalobah either. You know, like Chelsea need a brand. They need Thiago Silva to
Gabriel.
be 4 years young. Yeah, exactly. They need. I was gonna say
Badia Shield needs to be next to Gabriel.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, for Chelsea to ever figure out their best centre back partnership, it will involve a brand new centre back who's not at the club. Like I don't know.
Wesley Fofana though.
And I rated Wesley, but 2 ACLs, 2 years without football. Like, even if physically he's back, I don't know if mentally
it's gonna take
there's gonna be a lot of doubt in his mind. But there was poor performances all over the pitch.
Levi Colwill and Badia Shield.
Alfie Gilchrist, like you can't kill him, but he's not the levels. You know, I get it, debut, young guy, whatever, but he's not the levels. No. You know, Jackson himself, man. Like, damn.
To be fair, I think Jackson and Madueke are the only two that can come away from that game and think like, yeah, okay, we did something.
Jackson tries hard, didn't it? And
because as much as Jackson cannot score for shit, and I think Maya was saying like, I want my postman to deliver my letters, I want my mechanic to fix my car, I want my striker to score goals.
He's not a striker.
Like, and people are saying he's a winger, and that's the dangerous territory you start getting into.
He's a forward,
right? Yeah, he's a wide forward. Right? But if I'm being consistent, I've said about Kai Havertz that Kai Havertz won't ever be a one chance, one goal kind of guy. Like, in the first half, we didn't even mention the fact that Kai Havertz probably should have had a goal and an assist in there. Right. But and if you can't get on board with that, then you'll never be a Kai Havertz fan. Yeah. And that's cool. That's
He's not RVP.
That's up to you. Right. Yeah. Yet.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah. If you can appreciate what Kai Havertz offers, then obviously you'll understand that like what
Chelsea fans should be able to appreciate what Jackson offers.
Exactly. So if I'm being consistent, I'll say I don't think, because again, and we'll have this conversation about Darwin Núñez. I don't think it's just ever really a case of like one day a striker just wakes up and it's like, oh, I'm going to be clinical now. Like you keep kind of waiting for it to come. And they had this conversation on Sky, and Rooney and Daniel Sturridge were talking about it. And they were like, yeah, practice and repetition, and you can get better in those match tempo moments. And there are cases where you can, but I think for Nicholas Jackson, what he offers to that Chelsea team, at least at the minute, like he's pretty much undroppable.
I do think it's interesting though, beyond just the Jackson thing, that almost every Premier League club has apart from like maybe even Villa, like has a striker who they think isn't scoring goals, isn't scoring enough goals.
False nine.
You know, not even a couple of years ago, like a year ago, everybody was talking about defenders these days. None of them know how to defend. None of them are defenders first. They're all these pseudo midfielders that need to have passing ranges. There was that whole like bring back real defenders, real men type of thing. And now I think we're in not in an age, but we're in a little bit of a stint where you got, yes, you've got Solanke, you got Watkins who are scoring goals, but they play for Villa and they play for Bournemouth. But like United with Højlund, Chelsea with Jackson, Arsenal with Jesus. There is a little bit of, even Tottenham had it with Richarlison, of like, guys spend big money on these people and they might be good for 4 or 5, 6, 7 Premier League goals.
Yeah.
And like, where are the strikers who know how to finish? Sometimes on it, but more or less you're born with it. Where are the strikers now who are born with it?
Yeah.
And why are they not at the top clubs?
Well, I think there is that, like,
they're out there somewhere, but
Well, but I think the striker pool, there is a lack of
natural finishers,
strikers. Like even you look at, obviously Harry Kane's gone to Bayern.
Madrid don't have a striker.
Yeah, Madrid are playing Bellingham. Josselu's on there. Right?
Yeah.
Barca have got Lewandowski.
He's 34, 35.
Yeah, exactly. Borussia Dortmund are playing Füllkrug. Up there, who's bagging goals here and there. But like again,
it's interesting.
Even Bayer Leverkusen, who have gone and won the league, Victor Boniface.
Yeah.
But like I get Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
It's rare. It's like strikers like that out on. There's not a lot of them, and that's why I think some of the defenders, guys like Rio and whatever, say that like, defending's easy these days and whatever, because back in the day they were dealing with Henry,
real guys,
Drogba, Suarez.
But I think it's how quickly has that narrative changed around. We weren't speaking about strikers as if they're not scoring goals anymore.
No, but I think even last year there was like a thing about a lack of strikers.
Yeah.
I
wasn't tuned into the discourse. Everybody was gassing Tony and Wilson and Haaland and
Well, I still think those guys are good strikers.
They are,
but they're not like.
Wilson's been injured, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but the one thing I will always say about Callum is he bags goals.
He does.
If he gets minutes on the pitch,
I'd say he's one of those like,
but they're not elite.
Not a Defoe regen, but one of those last Defoe regen type of guys where in the box they can do almost any.
Defoe's quality.
He's not got Defoe's quality, but he's one of those ones where Callum Wilson probably has any type of finish in the box. Yeah, the turn and shoot, whatever, the header, all that kind of stuff. That is the opposite to Jackson, Højlund, Jesus' game. The antithesis. Turn and shoot. A snapshot.
He knows where the goal is.
Yeah. Like I do think it's pretty incredible for the Premier League and some other leagues, or academy strikers, whatever it is. They're not instinct. I guess there's a lot more to do now on a football pitch. A lot. I guess previously in older generations you could carry a 25-goal season poacher because he didn't have to do too much in build up and X, Y, and Z. But now there's no escaping build up and pressing. And
because even if you look at the Premier League teams, and obviously Haaland came in last year and kind of broke it, but the year before that, City won the league without a striker.
Yeah.
When Liverpool won it, it was Firmino.
Yeah. Maybe it's been going on for a while.
It's been other than obviously City last year, potentially City this year if they go and win it again. The last team that really won, because even when Pep was doing the Jesus and Aguero thing, the last team that really won that league with a traditional number 9 was Conte.
I was gonna say, you're saying it's Costa
and Diego Costa, which was almost 8 years ago or something.
That's crazy.
But
Yeah, we
we'll
digress.
move on. Obviously, Arsenal's biggest ever win over Chelsea, thanks to Kai Havertz. So we might need to pay Chelsea some more money for that. And yours truly over here had him number one
Yeah, no,
on the
that
summer
is true.
signings, and everyone laughed at me.
I don't know if he's number one, but he's up there. He's up there
He's
more.
definitely not number one for biggest flop.
No, exactly. He's up there way more than anybody was ever given him credit for. And we remember who was saying that Chelsea got a better end of the deal.
Yeah,
Half of the time, like
yeah. But yeah, it was good to see that, man. I feel like of all fan bases, and I've said this before, as much as I hate Tottenham, as much as I hate Man United, Chelsea fans just like Amon sent me a voice note, kind of basically saying like, oh, why did it have to happen to us? I was like, you man deserve.
Yeah, you
this.
deserve. You've been deserving.
You've
this.
had it way too good
yeah,
for way too long.
Chelsea, yeah. Anyway, we digress.
But yeah, we'll move it on. Everton versus Liverpool, the Merseyside derby. That before Wednesday, Everton had not won at Goodison since 2010. It had been 14 years, and I remember after we played Goodison match week 5, came on this podcast, and I said to you, I'm so glad this fixture's done.
Yeah.
Because Goodison is one of those places that you do not want to go to. That's when they're fighting for their lives. Because that place will rise, that place will get up. It will be, you watch the game, right? It's a long ball, second ball, fight for everything kind of game. And that's when they beat us last year in Sean Dyche's first game. That's how they beat us. Passion, desire, second balls, and that's how they beat Liverpool.
That's how they'll beat everyone, man.
Exactly. It was the same thing against Liverpool, and Liverpool couldn't cope with it. They were giving away sloppy free kicks, and I told you all, this Liverpool midfield cannot win the league. You cannot cheat the Barclays.
You
cannot cheat it.
It's been so good to see the wheels fall off the Liverpool bandwagon. So good, and the manner in which it's done. It's better that Liverpool beat Fulham and lost to Everton than them losing to Everton and beating Fulham. If that makes sense. Yeah. The real
for rival fans.
The real sort of cascading of errors and the shitstorm that Liverpool have sort of found themselves into.
And I will preface before, because we will obviously speak quite a lot about this game, and obviously you've just mentioned it there. We're fully aware that Arsenal go to Tottenham.
Yeah, of course. Anything
aware,
can happen.
But we're doing this podcast on a Friday, and this game's happened, so we're gonna.
Every dog has its day. I think it's pretty big. We always remember I don't know if we spoke about this on the pod some time ago about how like the Liverpool Everton rivalry is just so meh because Liverpool always win the games, and that bullshit that used to happen with Origi and Pickford and all of that kind of stuff. So it was so good to see this happening, especially in a game of this sort of magnitude, like Everton fighting for survival and Liverpool fighting for a title. And from the very first, as you say, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, when Everton were getting chances, I was like, oh, this might not be just a walkover.
Yeah.
And
when you're seeing those bouncing balls and McAllister, Szoboszlai,
Sean Dyche got it right, man. It's tough to say that there were people like Ben Godfrey who I thought were going to be liabilities in that game who played well.
Yeah.
Like I thought
Jared Bramthwaite.
Yeah, exactly.
There's been a lot of talk around this guy, a lot of hype around this guy. Man United fans clamoring to sign him.
Ashley Young.
If he does go there, his career will be ruined.
Yeah,
because that's just classic Man United. So hopefully he doesn't go there. But I haven't fully been on board with the hype because I've seen some mistakes in his game.
Yeah.
But
they're gassing him to the moon.
He's very comfortable on the ball.
Michael Keane was at that time when he. I'm joking.
No, people forget who Michael Keane was.
Serious.
Michael Keane was big time, man. But I do think this is a bit different. I do think Jared Bramthwaite has got like.
I think he should do another season. If Everton stay up, you should do another season because if he moves,
and
there is that
to learn your defensive trade under Sean Dyche.
Yeah, come on, you can't get better fundamentals. And if he was to move, there would be that pressure for him to be almost a complete player at this young age when he's only had one full season. But he played very well. But as I said, even people like Ashley Young, when he comes on at halftime, I think, fuck, he's gonna give away a penalty. He's gonna get them back into the game. but he did well.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it all came down to, honestly, when that second goal went in, the emotion almost killed Liverpool. Like, they knew draws kill you at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
And I think when that second goal in, they knew probably at best they could get as a draw from this match. And I think that was a real sort of hammer blow for them. And after that, the game just sort of like not petered out, but there wasn't,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, they didn't really recover from that. And obviously, like you say, draws are losses. And once you go 2-0 down in a game, it's...
But I don't know how DCL's got that header at the back post.
This DCL,
I don't know.
absolute monster class
I don't know.
for 90 minutes. I will remember
Running on
this
hate,
performance for a long, long time. The way from, like you say, from the first 10 minutes, nudging Canate, nudging VVD, getting up, winning headers. And I said this before we played them. Coming up against those two is a monstrous task. 6'4" plus, both of them. Aerial duels, their pace, can run, can take you in the channels. You're gonna have to have a big game against them to be able to get anything. And DCL had one of the best games. Everton fans are saying that might be one of the best performances they've ever seen. Right? He was his hold up play, he was linking it. He was that is a man who was ready for the derby.
Sean Dash got his team set up right. Again, I'll say it again.
There was no Onana in the team.
Yeah, there was
I
no
thought maybe
Onana.
he was being rested on the weekend, but no, he kept him out of the team. And again, like guys like Idrissa Gueye. Like, Everton signed Idrissa Gueye from PSG.
He was 34 when he came back, I'm sure.
I can't believe he's still at Everton through everything they've gone through. But he is one guy who, for as much as people say Sean Dash is the long ball football and whatever, and he does kind of play into that. Yeah. Whenever Idrissa Gueye gets on the ball, he looks for a pass.
Idrissa is super. I don't know how to describe it. Even some of the challenges that he makes, and like he has that Thomas Partey of last year in him when he's like, how does he get foot to that? You know, he slides in for the ball 10 yards away, and he's like, yo, but how does he still get foot into that? You know,
but again, for Idrissa Gueye, that performance is once every 7 games.
Yeah. Oh man.
But they knew all 11 players for Everton out there on the pitch, even Jordan Pickford, with his camera saves. Knew,
Pickford is so. There was a moment in the game when Pickford makes a save, and the ball is not even gone out of play.
And he's celebrating.
Yeah, the ball is not even gone out of play. It's coming right back at him. He's turning, he's patting the badge. I'm like, yo, this guy is a clown.
You're just waiting for the Pickford mistake.
This guy is a clown.
In terms of, massive congratulations to Everton. Their fans will enjoy that. They started singing "You Lost the League" at Goodison Park.
Yeah, which they must have enjoyed, man. With that much misery, honestly.
14 years they ain't seen
that much misery. They were saying people like Seamus Coleman he's never won there or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
or I think he might be the only one
who was there
who's won a Goodison derby.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So massive shout out to them. But Liverpool.
Yeah.
I've got one question here. Right. I'll give you a bit of information, then I'm going to ask you the question. This season, Liverpool have spent the most days
at the top of the
league. And they were 6 points clear at one point. So I know maybe that's a bit of a familiar story for some people.
Yeah.
Have Liverpool bottled it?
I would say...
Did they bottle it on Wednesday?
Do you know what? This is poor from me. But
yeah, you're gonna be inconsistent here.
No, only because last week I said Liverpool or the week before I was like Liverpool look like us from last year when we ran out of steam when we bottled it. And how I am in this moment right now, I want to be like, 100% Liverpool have bottled it, and I can give you reasons as to why. But if we lose to Tottenham on the weekend, we're right. So like that's how big it is. Like that's how big the weekend fixture is. Obviously, watch the preview, but I want to say that Liverpool, they have bottled it to a certain extent because this shouldn't be. And I hate Klopp, but this shouldn't be Klopp's farewell. Yeah, Klopp at least at the very minimum deserves. I lost on the last day.
Europa League.
I lost on the second last game week. As you say, I lost. You know, we left, but we lost with the Europa League final. That kind of stuff. Klopp doesn't deserve.
Like it's all over now. there's 3 weeks, 4 weeks left in the season, and it's all over.
Yeah, they can do the testimonials and stuff now. They can do the whole, you know, all the promos, all the documentaries, all that. You can release them now. Like there's,
But their parade will mean more to Trent.
So for that, I do think they're both, and also and I guess this is always how it happens, but the short time span in which it all fell apart, the Man United both results, the Atalanta results.
The biggest thing I think for Liverpool fans is that they will look back on it and say that I don't think any of them really believed they were going to win the quadruple, but they might have thought they would at least get 2.
AGT.
3, right?
This is 1 of 4,
right? I think the real like stinging point for them is that it all kind of collapsed in that FA Cup tie.
Yeah, to United,
to Man United.
Yeah.
And we know how much Liverpool hate Man United. We know how much Man United hate Liverpool. It's very much the same with Arsenal and Tottenham. So you understand that hatred, and for them to lose it the way they lost it.
I think a better question.
And then from there, they obviously went to Old Trafford and drew. And you said from that point that you thought that result, like I was kind of sitting here saying that's not a bad result. They're still in this, and that's like the signs of them being like us from last year. I think are prevalent, but the reason I asked you have Liverpool bottled it was because I thought you would say yeah.
They have they've bottled it.
But to me, again, like if I'm being consistent,
I'm not going with the overachieving and the.
Last year, everyone said Arsenal bottled it, and you know what? If you want to say Arsenal bottled it, I'm not going to argue with you because I think that's a bit of a pointless argument. And there's definitely a case to be made that Arsenal bottled it, right? But I think in some ways it's quite difficult to bottle a title
to City,
because I've always said like the table doesn't lie. The best team after 38 games will win the league. If you've won the league and you're top of the table after 38 games, you have been the best team.
I don't think,
right? So I think it's hard to bottle it. And last year, the expectation for Arsenal was to get Champions League football. And I've spoken about moving the goalpost mid-season before on this podcast. Right? So to be where we were, 100%, we wanted to win the league. 100%, it was difficult to go out the way we went out. We went out with a whimper in the end. But I would say the same thing for Liverpool is that, and I know Jamie Carragher said it, but he's getting heat because he didn't say that about Arsenal last year. Right? He was just saying Arsenal bottled it, even though the expectation for Arsenal last year was just to get top 4.
I think a better question is, when Klopp announced that he was leaving, we were all saying, is this going to help Liverpool? Is this going to hurt Liverpool?
We mentioned about controlling the emotion.
Controlling the emotions. There was, parts of the football fans was like, it's going to put a battery in Liverpool's back from now to the end of the season. Every game at Anfield is going to be a win, all that kind of stuff. And then there was obviously people saying, look how much pressure it's going to add on to people now that they're playing for their favourite man. Like, a lot of people owe their careers to Jurgen Klopp in that team. Squad, So I think that is a good question of whether or not what Jurgen Klopp did in terms of announcing his retirement, announcing that he was leaving early, did that negatively affect the players, or did that get the players to this point? Like maybe they would have run out of steam prior to this, and they I
think that is a good question. But I don't. I know, and we spoke about this off air that Rooney was trying to stick the knife in him.
Yeah, he was.
But I mean, Klopp has to announce it at some point, right? And obviously the club knew about it and whatever, and it could get leaked. And so I don't think there was a better time for Klopp to announce it, because I don't like. Would you tell me that there's a better time for Klopp to announce it? What is that time, if there is one?
To be fair, it would be now. when
that would kill them
when it's all said and done.
That would kill the Liverpool fans. They've just left bottled the title.
I think
and now Klopp's telling you, "I'm going."
But I do think, I think a better time is either you at the beginning of the season you say this is my last season, or at the end of the season you say this is my last season. Because I do think in some of those moments in the United games, when like it's an unsaid thing where everybody's like, "Oh, this is Klopp's last time at Old Trafford." This is Klopp's last FA Cup final.
They had a whole thing about this is Klopp's last Merseyside derby.
And you're thinking as a player in those moments, Kobe Mainoo has just put you 2-1 down, Yeah. And you're like, oh, this is Klopp's lot. Like, are you being a bit more you don't want to be the one person to make it 3-1. Are you being a bit more conservative? Are you playing within yourself? Are you we will never know the answers.
I think I would lean more to the side of that's what's got them to this point.
That's what's got them to this point.
Because I've said all season that I didn't think they would win the league.
Yeah.
I didn't think in certain areas of the pitch, I've been very clear on that. I didn't think they were in the league. I've been very clear that I think Arsenal are a better team than Liverpool. I think Arsenal will finish above them. So I think to even get to this point, like, bro, there's 4 games left in the season and they're 3 points off top of the league.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's done for Liverpool. Like I think there is it's very 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 unlikely they win the league, but
I think mentally for those Liverpool
mentally, yeah, it's going to be tough to get up from.
Because I also think that they're not going to beat West Ham.
I don't. Jared Bowen.
I'm fairly confident.
I don't think it's done for Liverpool in terms of even finishing above us. It is still, and I agree. The performance and the mental aspect of it looks damning.
Yeah.
But it is still so tight. It is still so tight. Yeah. And I wish
City and Arsenal only have to lose 1 game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. However, I do think there is an all likelihood that we could finish all in the same points, and in that way, Liverpool would lose. But I'm really here to say that what happened midweek versus Everton was such a sour blow for how Liverpool and Liverpool fans and maybe the wider public will reflect on not Klopp's entire legacy or anything like that, but just this season, season, and the possibilities of what could have been.
Yeah, it's a bitter way to end.
Yeah, and it's not even just that they lost; it's how they lost and who they lost to.
Yeah.
And I think that is
who they lost to is a massive part.
Yeah, even the 3-0 to Atalanta. You could lose to Atalanta, I guess, in a cup tie, but to get bopped at home in the first leg for it not even a competition, and now you're playing the whole. Should I go full strength? Should I go tackle? Because
now they're saying that their Klopp's last season was derailed by Man United and Everton.
And I know Liverpool fans, and it felt like that. But the Europa League final was going to be held in Dublin.
Yeah,
there's a lot of Irish Liverpool fans. There's a lot of people from Liverpool who can get to Dublin quite quickly. It felt as if it was a guarantee that Liverpool get to that final. Yeah. So all of that, that's what I'm saying about the pressure that Klopp put on them of like, that's how Arsenal was feeling, or that's how the fans, that's the pressure I was putting on the players. It's like, oh, if we're in Europa League, we should just get to the final then. And we got to the final like once or twice. We lost to Atletico.
In the semi.
Was that the semis?
Yeah.
So we only got to the final once then. And it's like...
Kashani kicked it in his own face.
Yeah. It does something weird to you when you start having the whole we're
the league's a hard competition.
Yeah, when you start saying we're the best of the rest of the Premier League.
Yeah.
Surely that just means we're the
But I mean, even so, I do think Liverpool should have got better than they did, right? But
would you take this though? If you as a Liverpool fan and this is Klopp's farewell, I mean, you have to take it.
I mean, he's left with something.
Yeah, so that's what you're
with something, right?
Yeah.
So you can celebrate that, and I think for Klopp's legacy, and I've said this before, like people are going to talk down on it. Man United fans are going to talk down on it. They've already started to do that.
I will, yeah.
But I've said this before. If Arteta wins
everything,
what Klopp has won at Liverpool, he could win nothing in his final season at Arsenal.
Yeah,
I would give him the craziest send off.
And then quickly, then before we move on, what do you think of the onslaught? And I think no one knows much about him, innit? So
I think we'll talk about that. There's 2 points I want to make quickly on Liverpool. Right, we made their comparison to Arsenal last season.
Yeah,
and one thing we did in the run-in last season was leak goals.
Yeah,
and that became a massive problem. 2 at Anfield, 2 at West Ham, 3 at home to Southampton.
Yeah,
and that is one thing about this Liverpool team where, and you said they remind you of Arsenal last season, that I was kind of like banking on. In terms of them falling away,
was that they would lead goals?
Is that I think in the last 6 games they've conceded 8 goals or something.
Virgil van Dijk.
Maybe.
How
are you getting blocked by Godfrey on the corner?
They're coming for you.
But and like we've heard this a lot last year in the running. If you start leaking goals, it becomes
It's so long.
hard.
It's so long
because you have to score 2.
Knowing you have to score 2.
And Liverpool had their chances in that game.
Yeah,
especially at 1-0.
Yeah.
Salah has a chance. Nunes has a big chance. Whole goal to aim at. Has to score that. Nunes has had a couple throughout. Obviously, Luis Diaz hit the post and whatnot. But I think that was just a clear. There's been moments this season, where. And I always used to say, I think we both used to say Sadio Mane was better than Mo Salah, right? During their whole time at Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
And that 1-0 Sadio Mane.
That's what I've always said about Sadio.
1-1 Sadio Mane that we always used to talk about. If that's Sadio Mane in those positions in that game on Wednesday at Goodison, he bags.
He takes his first chance. There is a certain level of love and respect I have for somebody who consistently makes it 1-0.
Yeah.
I've always sort of said that. Or 1-1.
When you're 1-0 down.
Yeah. No, 100%. And look, I think Liverpool's defense is interesting. I really, really do, because, and I said this in a group chat, I think there's certain players like Robertson. Yeah.
Finished.
Yeah.
Legs
like
gone.
Robertson will be a good player. He will still be a good Premier League player. But that elite sort of bracket that he was in, after Klopp, I don't think he gets to the. He just becomes a Seamus Coleman. Yeah. Like
when it's not just energy down that left, and it's like, I need you to actually play some inside balls.
Yeah,
do what Ben White's doing.
Box this guy out. He's not I actually don't have too many. I know Konate had a poor game, but I don't have too many question marks. I think he's a good young prospect. I think he can.
Maybe Carragher was saying they need to buy a centre back.
Yeah, it's to replace VVD. And not like, yes, Konate was poor, whatever, but one of them could go. Like, say VVD goes, whatever, and then Trent could stay. Trent could go, but Trent stays. He would do Trent things on the ball, but there's always that off the ball thing. Yeah. So, you talk about them leaking goals. They do need. Endo's a good player, but he's not the sixth destroyer that is gonna keep things watertight. At the back. So moving forward, post Klopp.
Yeah, and that brings us on to Onslaught.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna sit and pretend like I watch Fire.
Yeah.
But from what I have heard of people talking about him and his final team, is that it's quite similar to a high pressing kind of environment, which I think if you're going to be Liverpool manager, especially when you play at Anfield and stuff, you need that high energy.
Yeah.
You need to kind of play that way. I think, listen, you saw that clip of Carragher, right?
Yeah.
Talking about, and Carragher, he's
not interested.
Lost for words because it was Xabi Alonso. Couldn't get Xabi Alonso. It was Amorim, couldn't get Amorim, and now they've landed on Onslaught. It kind of felt like they were going down the list. But what Jamie Carragher said about he can't just be a good coach is bang on. Like Onslaught, Ten Hag's a good coach.
Yeah, exactly.
But he came to Man United and he got swallowed up.
I've got two things.
Onslaught is most definitely a good coach. Like he's coached Feyenoord to win the league.
Yeah.
But he's got to come to Liverpool, which going from Feyenoord to Liverpool is a massive jump. He's got to come to Liverpool.
Have personality.
He's got personality, character from the very first press conference he has. He's got to put out his intentions. He's got to connect with the fan base. He's got to do all of that stuff. And I think, and again, I don't know much about
players,
the guy.
most importantly.
Yeah. I don't know much about the guy, but I do think that whoever was coming into this role after Jurgen Klopp, there's a high, and I said this before, there's a high chance they'll fail.
Yeah, it's never easy
because the whole thing's gonna change, man. Jurgen Klopp's been there for almost 10 years.
I was seeing JT briefly just speak where he did this whole new thing with Sam and Jordan. This sort of interview.
There's a lot of suspect stuff.
Oh, there's a lot of suspect stuff. Yeah. But what he was saying just about this point of there was a manager who had absolute control. Jose had control. Carlo had control. Wenger, Sir Alex Ferguson, they were the guys who was in charge. I think when Arne Slot comes in, after when you come in after a guy that had complete control, there is a year of who fighting for Michael Edwards going to be fighting for power to do all the transfers.
Well, I think Michael Edwards only came back because obviously he's going to get that Klopp, power, and then Klopp kind of was there had some arguments about who the players they wanted and whatever. I think Michael Edwards has only come back on the premise that he's going to have full control.
Well, and I think that's already compromising Arne Slot. But what I was going to say on Arne Slot was one, I think Dutch managers are always interesting because they
LVG,
get rattled.
Frank de Boer,
They get rattled by the UK media. Yeah. They're mad honest people. They're mad honest people naturally, just Dutch culture. So as you speak about the jump from Feyenoord to Liverpool, it's massive. Yeah. If you start losing a couple games and the Scouse sort of reporters are getting onto you about team selection
media
and
pressure,
can he handle that? And then two, and this is nothing, but I find it so funny how he's like under contract to Feyenoord and he's most openly like, oh,
yeah, I would love to manage Liverpool. Yeah, it's not a great look.
It's not even. He's not even being coy. It's not even. Oh, we'll see what happens. Oh, we'll just have to wait till the end of the season. He's at halftime meetings talking about. Yeah, by the way, guys, if this happens, happens, I'm off. But I can't say anything on him managerially. He's an unknown quantity. He could be good. He could be great. I agree with you. It's going to be tough.
I think he will be a good coach. He is a good coach. I think Erik ten Hag is a good coach.
I do think that appointing him specifically, and not a Xabi Alonso and not a Amaron, will maybe push the VVDs and the Salahs out. Like I don't think they might look at him and say, yeah, he is a good coach. He knows his X's and O's, but he's not a win now. And Salah's not here. VVD is not here to rebuild things. Fight with Villa and Tottenham for 4th place. Like he's a 20 goal a season win now person.
Yeah.
So I think just that alone, that admission of Michael Edwards must also know this. Yeah, if he's going to be bringing in Arne Slot and that's the guy that he wants, that there is a certain level of the big dons who aren't going to stick around for another rebuild that will take 2 to 3 to 4 years or however long.
Yeah,
Arsenal will only get better. City will always just be around, So
I think and this is where like there's not really many like win now managers out there, right? Like even the guys Chelsea are looking at if they want to place Pochettino, the guys Thomas Tuchel's probably the only one.
Yeah,
and Bayern fans have put up a petition that's got like
I saw that
signatures to keep him.
I mean, there is like there's not a lot of them, but there's even Nagelsmann. There's names.
Is Nagelsmann win now?
I think he's more win now than Arne Slot.
Yeah, but is he win now?
If he takes if the jobs Nagelsmann will take will be win now jobs. There will be the Bayern Munich job,
true.
The Germany job.
He has a more of a rep for VVD and that to stay.
To like, hey, this guy.
But I just think that the change from post Klopp, we saw it post Wenger, we saw it post Fergie. I think the change is just going to be so drastic, so big. I think any manager that goes in there is almost doomed to fail.
Yeah,
and even if he does succeed, fair play to him.
Even Gasperini and all these. I'm not saying Gasperini's the manager, but at least Gasperini has a CV. He's taken clubs to quarterfinals, semi-finals, Champions League.
He's not a win now manager.
But he has a CV that Salah and VVD can be like, oh, I recognize those achievements.
Hasn't Arne Slot won more than him?
No, he hasn't.
What's Gasperini won?
I don't know what Gasperini's won, but I know.
Eredivisie,
man. When Salah's like, oh yeah, what's Arne Slot saying? And he's seeing one-time Eredivisie champion. And I know he's kissing his teeth, and he's like, yeah, all right. But that's what I say about Liverpool. I think, honestly, Liverpool's end to the season, the remaining 3 or 4 games, it like super interesting narrative-wise. Super interesting narrative-wise, because even if they have 2 wins and 2 draws, it's gonna feel lackluster. Yeah. It's gonna feel like
I told you, man. I don't think they're gonna win on Saturday
against West Ham.
They played.
I saw Bowen's back in training.
They've got 12:30 kickoff. West Ham have had a week off. Paquetá, Kudus, Bowen, like.
Typical Liverpool though would bounce back. It would be one of those. The next game would be like, Robertson runs 10K. Like Salah bags 2 goals. It would be one of those performances that typical Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp, where it'd be like, oh, everything goes.
Yeah, but the way they played on Wednesday, and I do think there'll be a reaction. They'll be better, but West Ham are a much better team than Everton.
Yeah.
Like if Kudus and Bowen
or on it Paquetá
are 1v1 with Robertson and Trent.
Yeah.
Which is going to happen during the game because that's how Liverpool play.
Yeah.
It's problems, man. And if Antonio can do the job that Calvert-Lewin did.
It's not even that. It's just...
And West Ham need to bounce back. Moyes in his press conference today, we need to show a reaction.
Moyes' job is on the line.
Yeah.
But it's even that if VVD is not 100% on it in the channel, same thing with Konate. Antonio will feast.
Yeah.
So there is that element of, are you going to fight?
Yeah.
Are you going to,
But look, we'll move it on. obviously that's a tough one for Liverpool fans to take. But Brighton versus Man City, I watched this game up until 4-0, and then enough was enough. Um, for Arsenal fans and maybe even Liverpool fans are hoping that could be a game that City might drop points in, but they just dominated Brighton from start to finish. Brighton tried to play their ball. They tried to play their deserving ball, and City just like.
I was a bit shocked, man. I didn't watch the game, so I can't give too much on this, but I was a bit shocked at the scoreline ish. I thought Brighton would at least get a goal, but I was also shocked to see that Brighton are bottom half of the table.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, as I said, De Zerbi's got injuries, he's got this, he's got that, but I do think that Brighton have a better team than bottom half of the table.
If Brighton don't score on the weekend, their goal of the month is the Muric one.
No way.
But I said this on the chat. De Zerbi's in that like real Italian gaffer phase.
Yeah.
Of I'm just gonna make a point to the board that I need new players. Like he left Adingra, Buonanotte, and Ciso, Fati, all these guys on the bench, right? To play this Valentin Barco, this kid at left back, with Walker doing overlaps, Foden dragging him inside, Bernardo Silva.
You know,
he's gone man to man. It's the same shit we saw Conte do, same shit we've seen Mancini do. These Italian gaffers, when they come in and things start getting wrong or they don't start getting their way, they're gonna let you know.
Yeah. Would you have, if you was a Liverpool fan, would you have preferred a De Zerbi appointment? Because he has his ups, but he has his downs. Ancelotti is an unknown quantity, could be all up, could be a mixture of both.
I think De Zerbi's a better appointment, in my opinion, or a better manager than Arne Slot. But I think for Liverpool and for the like culture of that club and the way that they play,
he wouldn't mesh with De Zerbi.
I don't think it quite suits. I think. And they kind of say this, and like you don't have to take anything from this if you're listening, because it could just be waffle to you.
Yeah.
But I do think there is something in the like tradition and history of clubs and the way they play football. Like Gary Neville talks about Man United being fast counter-attacking team. And you've seen managers try and go there and play possession. Good managers like Louis van Gaal. And it not work. Right, really not work. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is almost the best they've had post Fergie. I know Jose won trophies, but in terms of just the football, the style of football, Man United fans might even tell you that Ole was, and that was purely just kind of counter-attacking, individual brilliance and whatnot. I think Arsenal is very much a club of like that's built into the history because of Arsene Wenger, because of what he's done. I think Liverpool, that high energy, that's how they've been successful.
I think De Zerbi's team to a certain extent plays high energy, but I think the biggest factor is as you say, the intangible. I think De Zerbi will always be at a club for 3 years max, and I think he will always seem like a bit of a mercenary to Liverpool fans, versus a personality like Klopp who they can like look to as a father figure.
I think Ange would have been
a great manager for Liverpool, and they would have loved
the style of football that Ange plays. High energy, high line, up the pitch. Anfield,
and that, but Ange similar, not similar to Arteta, but similar in the sense that these unknown quantity managers sometimes can be a better bet than.
No, Arne Slot can succeed.
Yeah, and like people,
but Arteta replaced Emery, not Wenger, and replaced Conte. Like if Arteta had replaced Wenger.
Would it be the same? Or would we be 2 years ahead in our development?
Yeah, because after Emery, there was an acceptance of like, yo, we are down bad. Like this is gonna take some time.
But we're digressing here. But those Emery years, it wasn't just Emery. It was what Sven Mislintat was doing, the other guy, I forget his name.
But yeah, I mean, City looked like they could go and win every game. They very well might win every game. And if they do that,
it's not fun.
I mean, just fair play in it, like. If Arsenal win every game and City win every game, it'll be disappointing. It'll hurt, but it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the level. That's what you're competing with. Not too much more to say on it. One other game, I know we said this was going to be a title race episode, but one other game we will talk about because they won on Saturday. They won on Sunday. They won again last night. Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace. They put 5 past West Ham, put 2 past Newcastle, got a clean sheet.
Officially safe?
Yeah,
I'm joking.
yeah.
They've been safe.
Jean-Philippe Mateta, Man United fans,
8 and
Chelsea
9.
fans. This is what a gaffer does.
Yeah,
This is what a new gaffer does.
I love
I'm
the.
seeing left foot first time finishes.
Yeah, no, Mateta is playing out of his skin. Mateta is, but
Balling.
we've been giving
Balling.
Mateta credit here for a couple
Yeah.
of weeks now. I think I always love it, man. I love a mid-table. Like that's what I'm saying. You know, not to say Mateta is better than Nunes or Hoyland or Jesus or Jackson. Yeah, but ironically enough, um, some of the mid-table teams have better strikers.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're not complaining that the strikers aren't burying
But
chances.
Mateta's goal record under Roy Hodgson,
Yeah, it's woeful.
and then Glasner comes in and he starts bagging goals. Now, I'm wary.
Who's the real Mateta?
Yeah, I'm wary that new manager bounce.
Yeah.
Right, Patrick Vieira had the same thing. Like, how long is Oliver Glasner gonna like? Are we gonna get to December next year and it's same old Palace?
Yeah, no.
But
Palace will finish 12th next year no matter what happens.
Palace have won 3 games on the bounce,
Yeah.
which is unheard
And they've done
of.
it convincingly. It's not even that they've scraped
Yeah.
through these
They
games.
beat Liverpool,
Yeah.
West Ham, and Newcastle.
Yeah. Yeah, those are tough fixtures.
I can't remember Palace winning 3 games on the bounce for as long as I've been watching football, right? But I just like, what do you take from the fact that we had a conversation about West Ham and David Moyes, and you were saying that you think the West Ham fans are ungrateful and whatever?
Yeah, they are.
I was saying I hear both sides of the argument,
Yeah.
right? Because if you pay your money, you're a season ticket holder.
You want more.
Go there every week. Yeah, okay, they've won a trophy, first trophy in how long? But then that only gets you. So now you're like turning up every week and watching this kind of dross.
That's the
and
problem.
This kind of defensive football.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a match going fan, as a season ticket holder, I understand that point of view as well. So now West Ham fans looking at what Palace have done, and they've got rid of Roy Hodgson. And like I said, I'm wary that how long this is going to go on for, right? But in the space of a couple of weeks, Oliver Glasner's come in, and now Palace fans, they can't wait to get to Selhurst Park. They can't wait to go and watch the team ball.
Yeah. I do think there is an element of like recency bias in it because West Ham were not playing bad football at the beginning of the season. What David Moyes does though, once performances start to dip or like there is a 1-1 draw in there, he shores things up at the back and he stops, like
his fullback is 2 banks off the ball.
yeah.
The ball.
Once you can see 2 goals in 2 back-to-back games, he's like, all right, let's shut up shop.
Yeah.
Let's just, and a part of that, to be fair, is personnel. Like, I don't know how, but he really loves Souček. Yeah. And I don't know if like Souček is all he's got, and Souček does do a job.
Well, it's him or Calvin Phillips.
But there's a certain style of football that Souček is good at.
Yeah.
And
if Souček's in the team, you have to play a certain
exactly. Yeah. And to this point, if Moyes and Oliver Glasner were to start the season, both next season as managers of their respective clubs, Moyes would finish higher.
Is that because he got a better squad?
Does he? He does. Yes, he does. Yes, but I wouldn't say that there is like huge leaps.
Yes, it's not massive.
Yeah, huge leaps and bounds.
But Elise is getting injured. Eze's getting injured.
Yeah,
and then it's getting long.
But then I think it's the same thing for West Ham. Like, there's always stints where Paqueta's out. Antonio's always going to be out.
Elise and Eze are out for
they could
be out for months.
Yeah, no, I know. I just think that. Crystal Palace
for a whole season, Palace genuinely might finish above.
But West Ham fans have to choose what they want. It's like
Moyes
won't ever play what Iriola and even De Zerbi and these managers what they're playing. But 7 times out of 10, you probably finish above them.
Yeah.
So it's like. West Ham are sitting sort of 7th in the table saying, I wish I played like 12th place Crystal Palace.
And also because of the way Moyes plays is why he won that trophy.
Yeah. And also because of the way Moyes plays, it's less dependent or like if Bowen is out, if Paqueta is out, you just bring in Edson Alvarez and you play the same soft football. His system is not star player proof, but he can lose his star player and not absolutely fall off the face of the earth. Yeah. Just because he's got a rigid back 4 and he's got Zuma and he's got,
Which might, like you say, if next season Eze and Elise are out, Glasner might fall off the face of the earth.
Yeah. Whereas
they might fall drastically.
Yeah. Whereas Paqueta will be out, Moyes will be out, but that rigid 4 and 4 with the 2 up top, will be
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah.
you'll be able to
Yeah.
scrape a draws together.
Yeah.
You'll be able to scrape one win against a big club together, and you're able to finish in the top half. West Ham, as I said to you, yeah, it felt like this season, that was 2024. West Ham must have lost 6 or 7 Premier League games, and they're still in the top half of the table and been battered
Yeah.
in those games.
Yeah.
So it tells you how good they were at the start of the season. Yeah. And I hear it. If West Ham want to get rid of Moyes to play a better style of football, I hear that. I just hope your points come with it. Because don't trade in Moyes to play good football and finish 11th, 12th,
Yeah.
13th.
I mean, that's the trade-off. That's the question West Ham fans have to ask themselves.
Yeah.
Like, are you willing to give up? Because there's a very good chance to get European football again this year.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
If Moyes is consistently
Which will
giving
be
you
3
European
years
football
in a row.
yeah.
Right? That's the trade-off. Are you willing to give up European football potentially, right? Almost most likely, to play a better style of football.
Yeah,
it's a bit different for Crystal Palace because the jeopardy's not there.
Yeah,
right. They can really only I mean, they could get worse.
Yeah,
but to lose European football for a club like West Ham, who've had it for 3 years, will be a bit. And are you willing to sacrifice that to see your team play better? If you're a season ticket holder, I understand.
I understand. Look, I understand where the jealousy is coming from, because Bournemouth and these guys are playing really good football. Like Wolves of the world are
but they are all below you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And as I say, you've had a terrible 2024, and you're still considerably above them. You know, so there's a winning formula, and then there's attractive football.
And you only got knocked out in Europe to arguably the best team in Europe.
Moyes said it is like, that's a Champions League team.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
You know, like we were
that's
good.
Probably the team that's going to go and win it.
We were good for 70, 80 minutes, but they had the quality and the mentality and the know-how in the final 10 to get the 2 goals. And if Antonio doesn't bury his chance and that kind of stuff, you know. So I hear you. I think if Amaron goes to West Ham, it'd be really interesting for him to go to West Ham on slot.
He's a top coach.
Yeah.
A top manager. I do think that Amorim would have been better than Onslaught at Liverpool.
Yeah.
I do think that even having just seen, I watched a bit of Sporting, but even just having seen them come to the Emirates last year and the way that they played, he's a good coach, that guy.
And there's a damaging loss for Newcastle. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Newcastle are also fighting for European places. They with that win, if they'd won, they would have been level on points with United. That kind of stuff.
Away from home, Isak.
No, it's fair. But he's come up against an immovable,
Selhurst Park,
unstoppable force versus immovable objects.
No Mark Guehi.
Yeah,
Nathaniel Klein, Joachim Anderson, and Chris Richards. Come on, man! If you come,
but that's what Eddie Howe does.
To Arsenal, you can't be doing.
That's what Eddie Howe does. Eddie Howe knows how to bottle it.
Bro, he needs his striker to Selhurst Park under the lights midweek. I know Kai Havertz is going to turn up. But look, we'll move it on. Obviously, those are all the fixtures we're going to talk about this weekend.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Monday, post North London derby, and spirits will be high. Spirits will be low.
Manifesting.
But MVPs and rookies of the week, we both have an MVP that we already spoke about off air, but I'll let you.
Yeah, Eric Spoelstra. Spo. The man, the myth, the legend. I love Spo to death.
Coach, for those who don't know.
Miami Heat basketball coach. Stealing game 2 at TD Garden. Series.
No Jimmy Butler.
No Terry Rozier, his 2 best scorers. You know, I'm not going to say a team full of bums and scrubs, because they're not that, but they're a team that doesn't have the talent that the Boston team have. All the momentum. Yeah, all the momentum that the Boston team have. So for them to even be in this series, I think it's real MVP stuff.
Yeah.
And as always is said, when Sport makes the adjustments, he's the equivalent of Pep. Like once he makes that X and O adjustment, it's done.
Kovacic at left center back.
Other basketball MVPs, I'll give it to the Nuggets and Jamal and Jokic because
I had Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
for that game winning shot.
Yeah,
in Denver, big time play in the series. That goes to overtime potentially. Obviously, you expect them to still win, but potentially Lakers nick one. And it's 1-1 going to LA. That's a big time shot from a big time player.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. I'm gonna give Matetra an MVP, man. 8 and 9.
Yeah.
What we doing here, man? 8 and 9.
29 points. I think he got me.
Yeah, 8 and 9 is crazy. Like,
I'll give Oliver Glasner one as well.
Yeah, Kai Havertz will get an MVP from me. Ben White will get an MVP from me.
Chelsea will get a rookie.
Jude Bellingham will get an MVP from me. Winner in the El Clasico. That's big time.
Yeah, Chelsea getting a rookie from me.
Chelsea gonna get a rookie from me.
Chelsea fans getting a rookie from me. I've never seen an away
Mauer
end.
is getting a rookie from me. Talking with his chest about, oh yeah, we've got something for Arsenal. Yeah.
I've never seen an away end empty quicker.
Yeah,
So, Chelsea fans get a rookie for that. And Stuart Atwell.
Yeah.
Right now, obviously Forest came out with a statement and called him a Luton fan and said he shouldn't have been on VAR. And whatever you think about, and did you see the decision in the Wolves-Bournemouth game? For the Wolves goal that got ruled out.
Yeah, I did see that.
Mateus Cunha going like this. I didn't even clock it at first. I'm like, well, nothing's happened there, right? Cunha, I don't even think makes contact with Clive. How that got brought back is
it's crazy.
Wolves just get shagged
for a foul in build up. Yeah, I know.
It's and that, like, how is that ever a foul?
And you know the worst thing about
they
it
sent
is
the ref to the monitor, and that referee on that pitch is Stuart Atwell, by the way.
Yeah,
and he's looked at it and thought, yeah, that's a foul. I need to rule this goal out.
The worst thing about it is it Cunha who's going into the challenge? Yeah. He is going into a 50-50. He's not even going into like I'm just gonna come away with the ball type of thing. It's one of those ones where it's like, I don't know.
But in terms of Stuart Atwell, he's obviously getting a lot of flack. They call him a Luton fan. He made a shocking decision in that Wolves game. He's a rookie, and I don't really hate any referees. Like they're all kind of trash and whatever. So, but Stuart Atwell, you can hold that for that performance you gave when Arsenal played Man City, and you sent Gabriel off and Rodri scored in them, and you didn't give us the penalty, and you gave them the penalty for a Bernardo Silva dive. You are one referee that I will always be happy to see the downfall of, so you can hold that. I think other than that, Darwin Núñez, big moments this season.
I was gonna say we have to give some Everton
of them, and you haven't put the
Sean Dyche definitely has to get an MVP.
Yeah,
and I would give a rookie of the week to sort of the Liverpool back four. I don't think they were terrible, but I do think that in a derby
Did you notice how in that first half though, I think on 3 occasions Trent plays a pass that should lead to a goal.
Yeah, and like I think Trent's really he's done it since he's come back from injury. He's been Trent.
Yeah, and that's the unique. Like as much as I love Ben White, like if you gave me the chance to swap him.
I don't know if I'm swapping.
I would swap him.
I don't know if I'm swapping. I'm not in love with Trent the way
the individual X factor, like in a Bayern Munich game or something. Trent will pass. Trent will score a free kick. He'll hit a diag. He'll do something that Trent, like I said, bro, 3 times the pass, the little dink to Salah.
Yeah.
Across the 2 passes that he played straight into Núñez.
Yeah, the free kick last week.
Yeah. 3 passes he plays in that first half in that Everton game that should all lead to goals.
No, he is one of a kind. But I was gonna say I'll give the back four a rookie of the week just because they lost it, and it's tough to even say they got a rookie of the week for losing their battles to Tarkowski and Branthwaite because you can do that.
But you knew what game it was
exactly, and what was on the line for a title race. Don't tell me Branthwaite and Tarkowski got. You're meant to be VVD and Konate. So yeah, for that, come on.
Yeah, fair. I think that's all of it from us.
Yeah.
Check out the North London Derby preview because that's a massive game. Potentially, people are saying it might be the biggest one, but I feel like people say that every year. But check that one out. That will be out on the channel. So thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Rate us 5 stars if you're listening on Spotify. Peace.